There we go. Everything is working. And after years of sim racing experience, I'm still really good at calibrating my wheel correctly. First try. And nothing you can say will prove otherwise. Anyway, there we go. Good evening. I realised that I said that I'd do another stream of this sort of in the week. I didn't expect it to be the next day, but some other stuff that has come up that I'll be doing later in the week that also requires me to paint some Warhammer, and I thought I can't bother getting all the painting stuff out today and putting it away and then streaming another day and swap. So I'm streaming today and painting the rest of the week, which I might stream if people want to see that, but if not, no worries. I'm sort of going to hop straight into it. It's just going to be the one race today, but it should be a tough one and an exciting one. Before we hop into that, let me turn off the intro because that is still there. And then you can see that beautiful photo from the 1967 Syracuse Grand Prix. Very lovely. I think one of the Ferraris leading at the front, a Cooper in behind, and a Lotus maybe in behind that. I'm not 100% sure. I think so, though. Anyway, let's have a look. First things first, I'm going to pop the results up from the first 2 rounds of the European Formula 2 Championship. So, hopefully, you can see those okay. You can see the non-championship races that are coming up as well. So there's the Formula 2 standings, where drivers eligible for Formula 2 Championship score points, and then there's the overall standings, which I've just put in for a bit of fun. So there's some jeopardy to all the Formula 1 drivers that were racing in the Formula 2 stuff as well. So you can see how that's going. I think from memory, why do I say from memory? I've got the spreadsheet. I can just look, imagine. Yeah, so in the Formula 2 standings, we're leading. Even though we brought it home in 9th at Silverstone, that ended up being 3rd of the Formula 2 drivers, so we get the points for 3rd. So we're leading there by 4 points from Jackie X. And then there's Oliver Beltois and Courage behind, all joint on 6 points. Then Brabham is leading the open driver standings, and we are tied up for 2nd with Jochen Rindt. Today we're going to be doing the Syracuse Grand Prix in a Formula 1 car. It's going to be the only race in this 67 season that I'm going to do that will be in a Formula 1 car. Specifically today, the BRM, I almost said Brabham, I think it's because I've just said his name, the BRM P261. Now, this wasn't really the 1967 BRM. That was the one with the H16, and they quite rapidly discovered that that thing was heavy and unreliable on a good day, and a total waste on a bad day. So they did quite a lot of running with more like a 66 configuration, a 1966 configuration of the car with a smaller V8 engine in it. That it wasn't competitive, but it was reliable. So, you know, with how attrition was in those times, you would at least have a car that might be there at the end of the race to pick up a point or two. So they did a lot of running with that, including with Mike Spence at the Syracuse Grand Prix. We're going to be driving another car, another BRM. Mike Spence will be on the grid, and we'll see how all of that goes. Now, another wonderful thing, before I actually turn the game on, is that Oscar Plada, who we had them lovely track maps from yesterday, has done a lovely track map for Syracuse. And once again, as I'm sure you can see, they're absolutely gorgeous. So, gives you a bit of an idea of the track, where we're starting, where we're going. Syracuse is a town, city, something of that sort of size in Sicily. And it is very much of its era. So we're talking about a walled street circuit that is incredibly high speed just about everywhere. You've got that hairpin, which is quite slow, but even the 90-degree corners are rapid. So we'll see how that goes. But enough idle chit-chat. I think it's probably high time that we get into the racing. So let me make sure that that's going to play ball. It might not. You just never know. So Seb, I'm already using the desktop capture. I had all sorts of issues getting it to capture GPL. So I'm not 100% sure on... I know what you mean, though. Like, getting them full screen would be useful. Would look a lot better as well. I probably won't have time to fiddle with it now, but it is definitely a shout. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, because I think the thing is that even though it's on a capture, it's picking up GPL, which is great. So when we're actually doing the race, it looks really good. But the problem with that is that when I'm racing, the the screen is obviously at a different resolution for GPL. It's got a resolution that's really, so I think it's like 640 by 4 something, 480 maybe, on the menus. Yeah. So like the game, thanks to the Gem Plus sort of like manager, it's very easy to run in whatever resolution you want. Like, I run it in 1080p because I've got a 1080p monitor, but I think you could run it literally at whatever resolution you wanted, and it does a lovely job. So, yeah, we'll just have to see. Anyway, let me get that display capture turned on. It's capturing the right display. It's always good, and we'll just get going. You get to see my desktop, and then we get to see the game. That's great. The desktop's quite a nice and sort of roughly relevant picture. It's Graham Hill at, I think, Nordschleife in 1970. So, very lovely. Yeah, there we go. So 17 laps, and again, it's an hour practice qualifying session, but we won't use the full hour because I've, as you can see, saved race weekend. I've done some driving to test the AI and figure out where I'm going, so it's not not effectively just 60 minutes of watching me learn a track that I don't know, which is very frequently the case with these older tracks. You've just I end up having not driven one version of it or another, so we'll see. I will drop some fuel out for qualifying, I think. Only a bit. Make it a bit quicker. Big thing with this being the 66 car, it's not on a 3-litre engine. It's going to be slow in a straight line, but it's quite agile. It handles very nicely. You have to let me know how the sound is as well. Let me know if there's anything out of whack or if the microphone's playing up again, and I'll fix it. That's something that we can do. It's obviously a bit of a louder car than the Formula 2s from yesterday. I think the Formula 2s are all like 6 or 4 cylinders and no bigger than 2 litres. These things they scream around. In saying that, they got a lot of power out of them smaller engines in Formula 2, even back in '67 by the looks of it. I think we're 225 horsepower in the Protoss, so. Anyway, welcome to the Syracuse Street Circuit. As you can see, it's fast, sketchy, got walls everywhere, plenty of excitement. Hi, by the way, Seb and Ice, good to see you in the chat. That's what I've been, if this is on the VOD on YouTube, which I tried doing, then I've got a couple of people in the Twitch chat who have been chatting away, making some suggestions, saying hi, all of that sort of thing. It's always nice. How have your days been, both? I know it's a Monday. Although if you're watching it on YouTube, maybe it's a Friday. Imagine that. Right now that's all I can do because it is Impact Monday. But, you know, what can you do? Almost at the end of the Monday. Let's just see how we go. We'll push a bit and see if we can't get a decent lap out of it. 43 would be good. 42 would be great. Oh, a bit hot in there. Touched the wall, but we got away with it. Happy with how we got through there. I always find this bit quite challenging, but really good fun. And you definitely can do that in 5th, but you just end up running right up against the hay bales, and I'm just building into it, shall we say. It looks like the time could be a decent one to open out though, so that's not a bad place to be starting. Heavy on the brakes up here, but I find that in this, sort of leaving it in 3rd and using the torque of the V8 push off the turn works quite nicely. 2nd's not quite in the right place, and yeah, I'm sure that in both the 55 and 66, or maybe the earlier 65 stuff that GP Laps has done Syracuse. It's such a cool track. It's really cool. Very much enjoy it. 43.85 out the box. Can't complain at that. That's a really good starting point. We'll try for another fast one and see where we go, shall we? Again, I'm sort of expecting high 42, well, maybe even low 42s and 43s from the Ferraris in the... we've got a yellow flag out already. For us. So another thing is that there's a great version of the 1967 season. So there's the 67X mod, Grand Prix Legends, that sort of updates all the 67 cars, adds in some models of cars and bits and bobs that aren't in the base game. But they also do a fantastic... Oh, we're going to get caught up here with someone on their outlap. They do a fantastic historic version of the 67 season. So we've got a historic grid with the sort of accurate cars in terms of their sort of production point, so I don't think both the Ferraris are exactly the same, for example. Go down to second because we're right over on the left. Maserati is probably going to have a look at us now up into this next corner. We've got no straight line speed. Well, he's on an outlap, so he seems to have lifted a bit. So the historic grid as well means there's only 8 cars. And initially I was thinking, oh, shall I fudge that and add some extra cars in? And then from the testing I did, it was really great fun. So I think we'll be fine, just as is with the historic grid set for this one. Yeah, I think that might be something with the F2 mod. Gonna get hounded by this Maserati now. There we are in the bales. Tiny bit of damage from it. I say it's same with the F2 mod, but I'm sure it's the sort of thing that, like, they're so vigilant with the mods in the Grand Prix Legends community. I'm sure it's been fixed and I've just not looked far enough into... Oh, in fact, we've got a flat tyre. So, things not to do in the race, as we're rapidly finding out. We'll accelerate time a bit, see where their pace is at, and maybe go out for another little run right at the end of the session. Oh, or not at the end of the session. Into the race we go! We'll go with 20 laps of fuel, just to be safe. Where we end up. So that's actually about right. So you can see that's worked really well. Siffert, who's probably considered the quicker of the Cooper drivers here. Nice to be in front of the other Coopers. They've had a bit of a slow session, but we're right with our teammate in the BRM and both the Ferraris. I think Parks has got the newer Ferrari over Scarfiotti, but well, we'll see where we're going. It'll become obvious, I suspect. And then we've got Joseph in the Cooper Maserati. Again, like 2 big 3-litre, definitely a V12 for the Maserati. Can't remember if it's a V or a flat for the Ferrari. And then another 2 with the big 3 litres behind that. Irwin in the Lotus, I don't think has the 3 litre. Yeah, I think he's on in an older version of the car, so he's struggling for pace around here in the same way that we are in the straight lines, and his driver profile seems to put him a little slower. But yeah, we're right where we want to be, right with our teammate Mike Spence. And we'll see how it goes. We'll do a little more accelerated time, get us on the grid. Yeah, should all be fun. See if we can survive. Starting P5 out of 8. And yeah, it does look like Parks has the newer of the two Ferraris as well. Just double check I've got the fuel in, which we do. We'll get going. We're too wide with Parks. Not Parks, sorry, Spence. Just got him by the kink. Ooh. Car seems okay there. We blew the braking zone pretty aggressively. Spence there. Is that Spence? No, that's Bonnier. We're both ahead of Spence. Another Maserati, which is why it's killing me in a straight line. Paying lots of attention, as you can tell. Don't know which cars I'm racing. Everything's a bit cold, and I'm just overdoing the braking zones a bit. So we'll try and keep on top of that. 16 to go, first lap down. Let's see if we can't put some good corners together, because we're very light and we're quite nimble, so we can be quick through these bits and gain some... Oh, not if I understeer off like that. Ooh. Oh, again, we've got away with that, I think. I need to chill out, though, because the car's a bit heavier and it's not quite doing what I'm expecting it to. When the Ferraris nudges the barrier ahead as well. Oh, got a little touch there. Bonnier. I am holding him up. Wonder if he'll have a look down here. He's going to have a look, but pretty sketchy into this section. But yeah, he's backed out. We did give him room as well, though. Lovely into there. That was better. So Scarfiotti's in a slightly slower Ferrari, not the same spec as Parks up ahead, and Siffert's in another one of the Maseratis, so not fantastic in the corners, but plenty of power from its big V12. Car's still maybe a little heavy to be braking, where I was in qualifying it there. We'll adjust to it, hopefully. He says, blowing the corner again. We're going quickly, but I'm just not hitting my marks very well. Good lap time, though. The toe certainly helps around here when you're in the race. I tend to find that me and the AI have set quicker lap times when we're racing than in qualifying. So it takes the AI just a touch of getting into it. Temps are looking good as well. Can't complain there. I'll get a good run through these S's again. Oh, much better. Might even be on the back of Scarfiotti up the hill, but we'll have to deal with his Ferrari power. Or not. He's not hooked up the run at all. Oh, he's got a problem. Scarfiotti's out. Mechanical there. Ferrari reliability. Ha! Great lap time. Did really hook up the S's though. A bit frustrating that the AI aren't replicating their qualifying pace because I think it would be a bit closer. Hey MJ, how's it going? Oh, great run again. I get that the lightness of the car is really helping us through some of these sections. Right in the toe. Right in the toe. Nothing happening. I'm going to have to brake earlier because they might be on a different line to us. How's your Monday been going, MJ? MJQT? Get all the letters out there. Quite the advantage in the high speed, but suffering everywhere else. Good lap time there, and Parks has picked it up a little as well. Just like to back off a bit through some of the really high speed stuff behind the AI, because they tend to just carry a little less in. You know, there's plenty of time, so we can be patient and work a move later on if we need to. It's looking like there's a potential for a win here, but we'll see. I apologise, Shake. Thank you for coming along. This very much is a budget rendition of what you do, I think. I'm still learning a lot and, you know, getting settings wrong here and there and all that sort of stuff, but we'll see. Oh, goodness. The pressure's on now that there's GP laps watching me play Grand Prix Legends. You've got to be careful of such things, haven't you? Well, we've got some tow from the Ferrari. We'll use that. Maserati's there, though. Careful of them bales. Both lost the Ferrari, and I suspect I'm going to see... Will the Maserati have a run on me? Oh, he backed out. Okay. Well, Siffert, I'll take that if you give it to me. Don't mess up. Oh, Valentine's here. Oh, it's all kicking off now. Don't mess up. Well, I'll try not to, but then I did crash into a field in your race on Sunday in the support race. So messing up has been known to happen. I get this, the speed of the Maserati. Why were you not doing this a minute ago? Oh, he's there. Yeah, it's tough. I spent some time learning it before today, and yeah, it took some learning, but I'm having loads of fun. And this BRM, whilst lacking in power, is great everywhere else. What, in terms of no idea how accurate it is to the real track? I mean, I genuinely wouldn't know. Like, my knowledge of this track is, realistically, watching you drive it, I think in a 55 Formula 1 car, and then just grabbing a track map and downloading it for this. So I found a nice picture from the real thing, and I can see what turn it is based on this track and everything. But yeah, I couldn't speak to. What I will say is that there's some tracks that do seem really accurate, which to say, like with the age of the game and how they're having to do the mod tracks, is dead impressive. Oh right, is it quite an old? What was it? Yesterday I did Formula 2 at Snetterton and Silverstone, which was very good fun. And a bit less learning, realistically, as well. I've driven Old Silverstone many times before, so that was not a new experience. There were some bits of Snetterton to relearn, but... It's Mr. McGlade. How's it going? How was your commentary duties on... Well, I saw some of the GB3 over the weekend. I enjoyed your commentary. Shame about that incident in the last race, but... You know, these things happen, don't they? Glad he was alright. I was surprised in sort of looking at the stuff for the Formula 2 Championship that I'm doing on the sort of the main thing I'm working through. Was that there wasn't a version of Such Life Grand Prix Legends. It's like, it seems so comprehensive in other ways. Like the fact that there's this Austrian airport circuit, Tulln, I think. Great fun, by the way, and good laugh having a little learn around there. But yeah, it was strange that there's stuff. I mean, maybe it's just where my head's at. Like, what's obscure to me isn't obscure to people modding for the 1960s era. Ah, right, okay. Well, what I will say is that the stuff Sergio's done for this, R-Factor 2, Assetto Corsa now as well, it's incredible. He makes such good tracks. And seems like a genuinely friendly guy as well, so... Like a real veteran of modding for sim racing, and someone who... Like, people probably don't even realise that they've driven his tracks at some point, I suppose. Right, okay. So I've not stumbled across some weird anomaly. It's sort of like everyone knows that is the one that's not there. I mean, at the same time, I'm just missing it off, and I could run 100% of everything else accurately and without any issues, so can't complain. We're putting in some great laps here to catch up to Parks. Well, it's all filling up now. We've only got 10 laps to go. Just run nerve twice. I'm honestly, I'm thinking of just saying that in terms of how I'm going about it, you know, my career, we just don't attend that round, and we'll just do 9 rounds. I mean, by the looks of it, historically, very few people attended every round of the European Formula 2 Championship in 1967, so that wouldn't be unheard of. Oh, a bit wide there. Just lift out and grab back onto it. Come on, Seb. I believe that was 68. I cannot remember for sure. We're going to have a bit of a run here. Very difficult to do it, even with the toe. Tires are just very quick. A bit wide off there. That's the plan. I'm just incredibly, like, there's some cars in the 70 mod that are just amazing to me, and I'm desperate to race them and have a go in a mod. And well, obviously the AI on Grand Prix Legends is really generally quite, like the race we had at Silverstone in the Formula 2s yesterday was great fun, and it's just against AI, you know. This is quite enjoyable as well, sort of chasing down a Ferrari through some narrow streets. That's certainly the plan. We're doing this non-championship Formula 1 race from 67 to in no way tease the team that I might drive for in a 68 season in the future. Oh, we're going to get a great run here. We're going to be quite close, I think, through the S's and up the hill on Parks. We're not dropping Siffert though, so like can't really afford any mistakes, or we'll fall back behind the Maserati in third. And it being non-championship, it's sort of, oh, glory or blow the engine up. Winning is the trick. Oh, we're going to have a great run here. Let's use it. Is he going to pull back? There we go. There's that Ferrari power. Not doing up the hill this time. There would be two Ferraris up here to fight, but Scaffiotti went out early with engine issues by the looks of it. We've lost Irwin, the other BRM, Spence. Again, we're not really hanging about. We're pushing this car to within an inch of its life, really revving it out everywhere, so be interesting to see if it survives or if I'm not being mechanically kind enough to it. A bit wayward in there. It's okay though. Lewis, I can't lose your respect if I've not got it in the first place. I think I've seen some other names in there. Sam, hello. Lard, hello. Gotta look where I'm going instead of not, because I'm gonna crash otherwise. Let's have a good run. We'll have a look again, but that Ferrari's gonna outdrag us. Just keeps pulling. That's great fun. Again, Bonnier's not really in the equation, but yeah, Siffert's put in some good times recently. He's right back there, holding or even closing the gap sometimes. I think we're probably a little quicker than Parks in front, but that Ferrari power is just making it challenging. That in the places where you'd go for a move, it's quite difficult, and he's very good on the hairpin. So I'm not really able to capitalise on anything there either. And of course, he's slow through here. So I then want to check up and not run him over. And it leaves you losing the momentum advantage that I need to keep in the BRM versus the fact like he can just drive off the corner faster. So very much an interesting race, you know, of the era where nothing was necessarily equal, but you could be competitive in very different ways. Like, I understand now in Formula 1 there are competitive cars and less competitive cars and things such as that, but there's such sweeping differences between what this car is and what the Ferrari in front is. It makes those differences more pronounced maybe than they would be in the modern sport. We're going to have to brake early here because he's going to brake early here. Again, we're going to have a good run off the corner, I think. Just carry the apex speed better. Just trying to edge in front. We'll pull back in and get a bit of a tow. But we'll have to brake nice and early just to make sure that we're not running him over. Again, you can see that Ferrari hooks up beautifully off of there and off the hairpin. So it's making overtaking safely really difficult to do. That's great fun. Again, like part of the enjoyment, isn't it? Ironically, I think this car's maybe got the opposite issues to what I've got in the Lagonda I'm driving in HRC. Oh, thank you, GP Laps, for the follow. Appreciate it. I believe in Grand Prix Legend circles, this is just as starstruck as you can get, as the Ferrari checks up massively. Get followed by GP Laps, it's the highest praise, right? If you're doing GPL content. I've gone in too hot. Whoa.
Bailey's on holiday, so have my Bezos money instead.
Oh, thank you so much, Sam. I appreciate your Bezos money. I'd appreciate, like, you know, Jeff, if you're watching, why not let all $5 come this way? Like, you won't miss $2.50, will you? You won't. Thank you very much for the subscription, Sam. I appreciate it. Enjoy your terrible emotes. As I just felt my clutch pedal, the face of it's coming loose. So that could be an exciting end to the race. 5 laps to go. Apologies if I'm not reading chat, but oh goodness, I've outbraked myself there a bit as well. Wow, Seb, that's very kind of you. Thank you for gifting that sub there to GP Laps for 3 months as well. Thank you. It's very kind. Chrissy! Hey Chrissy. If I've missed anyone that's come in and said hello, I apologise, but hello. Thank you for coming and watching. Some old sim racing action. I'm talking about the game, not myself, before someone makes that comment. I'm not that old, honestly. Oh, we're close here. Can't really push like I did. Almost died into here. Wrecked the car. Last lap. Oh, and it's understeering a bit. Not ideal. I know, Lewis, it's bad, isn't it? Everyone I race against seems to be like... I think the problem is that I am getting older, so if I'm racing against someone that's a teenager, it just makes me feel bloody ancient, you know? Oh, I've got to slow down again behind the... It's very slow through here, the Ferrari, which is great for us, until you realise that we've then got to go up this hill and it just... We run out of speed. Maybe we'll try something on the last lap. But I don't want to try anything just yet, because we're not really close enough and I don't want to risk it with this many laps to go. You can try. You've got some emotes of my terrible face and some Marshall that looks quite creepy from Richard Burns' rally that we found when I was streaming a few months ago. Yeah. I'm gonna have to. He's gonna lift loads here, that Ferrari. So we'll just back it down a little. Again, still not really dropping Joe Siffert, so we're going to be in all sorts of bother if we have any errors or if we get caught up battling against each other too hard, it'll make it a three-car race. And that Maserati, in terms of straight line, seemed to be very good actually. It seemed to even be bothering the Ferrari at points. Let's have a go. Have a big push up the hill. See if we can hold on to it. Really rev it out. As good a run as we've had, but I can hear the Ferrari coming back on us now. Parks just with more power. Oh. Well, he's slow off of there. Has he got an issue, or was he just having a slow exit? Just having a slow exit. Okay. I thought it would be quite funny if both the Ferraris had issues. We're going to have a run here. He's slow off of there. Can we get a look in? Oh, not quite. Can look into the left-hand part, maybe. No, I don't trust myself there. These sort of speeds that AI are going to aim for a line, sort of one way or another, even if you're on it a bit. Siffert caught us a lot that lap. Not a good lap from Parks at all. Say that, he's gone quicker recently. I didn't notice him getting to the 42s. Right, let's have a look at this next section. I think we can have a good look here if we get it right. Come on. Really using every RPM I've got. Probably damaging the engine. Still just not got enough on the Ferrari though. Got a bit of a nudge on the wall. That won't help. Come on. Hey Chris, how's it going? Don't make errors. I'm trying not to. Right, let's have a big last lap here. Full push. Maybe be a bit more daring with a move. Oh. Had a look there and it really was not on. Could put us at threat here from the Maserati behind. Right, let's have another good run up the hill. See if we can't maybe sit in the draft a bit longer, set it up that way. That's what I've been thinking is the play against this Ferrari. Maybe hang it back a bit more here. And use the toe. Well, he's still just going to be edging us up there, but it's a more level than it's been. We got him! Right on the edge of grip there, all the way in. I think we've got it. To the line. Oh, yes. Just getting the job done. Game, set, match. Cool. Right you are, raise fist. That was a great little fun race. I think the AI will probably set up a little too slow. This car probably didn't have much business racing those Ferraris in reality, but I mean, heck, it was fun, so who cares, right? Only 4 finishes. Quite a lot of there we go. Fifth, one of them. Excellent. Excellent fun. Yeah, magic shifting. Hey, look. It's with my third leg that I'm shifting, or my knee, or something. In fairness, I've got my hand on the spacebar holding that hand up, so I'm having to shift with one hand in reality. my reality is correct. Yeah, 0.34 at the line ahead of Parks with the last lap overtake. And only 0.9, so a second covering the top 3. Great fun. Great fun. Our second win, Snetterton, obviously, I think we got lucky more than anything else. Massive attrition. And our teammate holding everyone up really allowed us to make hay while the sun shines. Is that how's when the sun shone? Tenses. Challenging things, aren't they? There we go. No, MJUT, because I didn't hit all the walls and break the car this time. No, just the one this evening, I think. I didn't want to sit down and bed in for a super long stream or anything like that. Like I say, I knew that I wanted to do this race this week, and then there's other things have come up. Some Warhammer bits and bobs I'm going to do, and other things in the evenings, just, you know, family, personal events to go to. So let's have a look at the results. These are going to be quite difficult for you to see, sorry, so I'll read through them. We brought the BRM home in first place. We're followed by Mike Parks in the Ferrari, 0.34 behind. Siffert in his Cooper Maserati, 0.9 behind. And Bonnier was the last of the finishers in his Cooper Maserati, but 28.3 seconds back from the lead. Chris Irwin went out. Is it Chris Irwin? I've probably got that wrong. Irwin went out in his Lotus in an accident, it says. I mean, easy to do around here, as did Mike Spence in his BRM. They were both, I think, showing us about 8 laps down. We saw Scarfiotti go out, so it's an oil leak that took him out of the race, and Moser in his Cooper had a header failure. So, that was that. That was the race for today. It's now going to bug out as the newspaper thing comes up, and we get no frames per second for entertainment value. There we go. Triumphs at Syracuse. Cannot complain. 5th on the grid. Good start. We sat in 4th. Obviously made up that position on Spence it was, wasn't it? When he had his not Spence. I'm going mad. Scarfiotti. Made up the position on Scarfiotti when he had his oil leak. Had a really nice little battle, bit of a to and fro with Siffert to get ahead of the Maserati, and then he kept the pace right the way up. He was clinging to the back of us after that, and a lovely back and forth with Mike Parks and a big braking move. Oh, that's amazing! Thank you, Jake. Appreciate that. Being told in my chat for anyone that ends up watching this on a VOD on YouTube, there is a fix for the very slow, the very slow newspaper and the FPS dying. That's good to know. But again, I mean, I think that's been really. I mean, I've had good fun. Hopefully, anyone that's been watching has enjoyed it. Big thank you to everyone who's come along. GP Lats for the follow, Sam and Seb for the Prime sub and the gifted sub. It's greatly appreciated as always, as these things are. Now let me hop out of here. I'll turn off the screen capture. And we can look at this beautiful track map. Again, I'll reiterate this. The track maps are, get rid of that, are done by a chap called Oscar Plada, who runs a blog that he links out to from the Sim Racing Mirror Zone forums. Does these absolutely gorgeous track map drawings of all of the tracks. I don't think he's got all of them, but he, has done them for many of the tracks for Grand Prix Legends, mods and otherwise. So please go and check out Oscar Plada if you can, because they're wonderful. They're such fantastic pieces of artwork, and I think, as with anything in Grand Prix Legends, it's a big part of it being a passion project for people that involve themselves with Grand Prix Legends. I'm sure I saw you say it somewhere, Jake, but it's like tinkering with an old carburettor, getting Grand Prix Legends working quite how you want to, and I'm still very much in that phase of, twisting dials and doing fixes and changing configs and just understanding my way around it. Like, I'm not as competent as others. I don't understand quite where everything goes or quite how everything works, but it's already been massive fun. And like, realistically, as I stream these and ask questions and get sent fixes, it's only going to get better and better. So very much enjoying myself. Very much enjoying all of it, really, and the fact that there's a 1970 mod coming. And I think it's a BRM P153 or P160 from 1970. It might even have been both. They changed through the year, but they're some of my favourite Formula 1 cars from history. So really, that's what I'm building towards. I want to drive those BRMs in the 1970 mod. But I thought it would be more interesting to sort of work my way through a few seasons. I know that you can go from 1964, do a Tasman series in 1964, I think, and maybe even Grand Prix if there's some skin mods and bits and bobs like that. But I chose to start from 67 because I thought the Formula 2 mod for 67 seemed very interesting, full of a lot of cars that I really still don't know lots about, but I'm learning, and that's part of the fun of it as well. So we'll go through that. So I think the next time I'm streaming, which may well be this weekend, it may well be next week, what I'll probably do is the next couple of races, which are both non-championship races that were done in Formula 2 cars. It's going to be Pau and Montjuic in the Protoss 16 FVA. Going to be very challenging. It's a car, again, the straight line speed on it is great. You can work some pretty impressive runs on some of the less powerful cars, but it's just a bit heavy and the chassis is not as switched on as it is in some of the other cars. So those will be challenging races, but realistically we had quite a challenging one at Silverstone, early spin issues and only fought back to 10th. But with the Formula 2 standings being separate sort of from the overall running order, it worked out okay in the end. So it's all been great fun. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming along, and a big thank you again for the follows and the subs from today. It is greatly, greatly appreciated, and always very generous and lovely to see. I really don't do this whole streaming thing as a regular thing. It's not on a schedule. It's not something that I ever think I'm going to do that on this day every week. It's as and when the mood takes me. I thought, I put some effort into putting this championship together and all of that, and thought, it would be the kind of thing I'd like to show, even if it's streaming to no one and then uploading the stream to YouTube after the fact, which I did with the one from yesterday. If you are interested in the first two rounds of the Formula 2 Championship, I streamed those yesterday. That was Snetterton and then Silverstone. I think they were both 24-lap races. We're not running the full distance, but we're running a sort of a medium-length distance for all the races. Those are up on my YouTube, which I think is Hardwick94 or something. In fact, I'm sure I have a thing. Do I have a thing? Maybe. Yes, there we go. It probably says something on there. So you can see what my YouTube channel is, because I cannot remember for love nor money. But the VOD from yesterday's on there. Yeah, that's been really good fun, though. I'm going to switch off. We'll be back, like I say, either on the weekend or next week, I think, to do the next couple of Formula 2 races. And that'll be a longer stream, because doing a medium-length race at Pau and a medium-length race at Montjuic probably means 2.5 hours worth of driving about. So that'll be interesting. Going to see if there's anyone fun to raid. Is there? Let's have a look. Who is streaming on Twitch that I know? Yeah, we'll do that. Right, let me just type that into here. Oh, why is it not working? That's annoying, isn't it? See, the streaming thing, very professional. High quality only from me. There we go. Right. We're going to give Mr. Hillebrand, Nico Hillebrand, a hello with the raid. Join in for that. If you're watching on YouTube, that's N Hillebrand on Twitch. There's some racing, War Thunder, I think some like Gundam building and modelling streams as well. Always quite entertaining. If you like a shouty German, it's a good place to go. Follow me over there if you want to. Otherwise, just thanks for coming along and see you for the next one on the weekend or next week. Pop that raid start in and I will stop my stream. Yes, thanks very much, guys. Much, much appreciated. See you for the next one. We won! Yay!